like if I was in his shoes, bro, like, and that thing didn't do anything, like, yeah, it's great to be strong, it's great to be brave, but it's also dumb to be stupid. Welcome back to my review of Heavenly Delusion, episode 3. If you haven't watched the other 2 episodes, recommend going back and watching those 2 just so you kind of have a general idea of what I'm talking about. If not, no worries. But with that being said, let's jump right into episode 3 and talk about what I want to talk about in this episode. So, as you are well aware of, at the end of the last episode, I ended up talking about how her, right here, ended up bringing up that it's like, no, so I'm actually a man in a woman's body. And it's like, okay, well, that seems kind of odd. Like, what do you mean by that? And it kind of threw me off a little bit because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But then, like, what you get to see, like, within the next episode is that, like, you get this whole backstory of what ended up happening. What you end up finding out is, like, that he just wanted to, like, protect his sister and, like, become strong and, like, independent. And then this guy that I talked about in episode 1, this is Robin. It's, like, his idol, basically. Because it's just like, he's so cool, he's able to like beat up all these other dudes, like he's helping me out, so like I like this guy and I want him to be cool like me. So he ends up giving his jacket away to him, and she's like, wow, that's such a cool jacket. The sister's like, hey, this is pretty neat, like what's going on over here? And it's just like, did you win the race? No, like I fell off. And it's just like, did you hurt yourself? It's like, no, the other driver went around me, so I'm okay. And like Doc's like able to help her out basically. So it's just about these different spectators going missing. And this is the photo that he ends up showing to everybody. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because like, is it actually true that like he is his sister, or is it true that he is not his sister? I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions on what I think of this, like, because there is a little bit of combination, because like sometimes trauma will do things like that to you, where it's just like it'll give you this different event, and like since he just wanted to be strong and protect his sister, he saw as like one of the maneaters, so he ends up coming down and like making sure that they get protected beforehand, and he uses his little gun. He's thinking that like, oh yeah, this gun will do something to this like big creature. It's just like, no, it doesn't. And this creature is the one that I touched on in the last episode as well too. So like if you look right here, how like the creature like begins coming like into this form right here, you see that it's here, and we touch on this in the next episode as well too, but I'm just going to touch on it here. So like this creature right here, if you look back in episode 2 really quick for us, like within the drawings on the wall, which is right here, we'll go right, because everything's connected in this series, which is pretty neat. So this is what I was saying. So like this creature to me kind of looks like this drawing right here. It kind of looks the same in a sense. So like this creature kind of looks exactly like this creature right here, but you can make your own decision later down below, but that's just something that I had noticed. And when he shoots it with that little thing, the creature's like, oh crud, okay, like I just got hit, barely even got hurt, didn't even notice it. And if I was in his shoes, bro, like, and that thing didn't do anything, like, yeah, it's great to be strong, it's great to be brave, but it's also dumb to be stupid, you know? Like, that's just how it is. So, like, he's like, all right, I'm going to take off my jacket. I got my knife. Like, I'm going to take this thing out with this little thing. And it's just like, all right, dude, like, that's impressive that you got the balls to be able to stand up and, like, fight that way. So he ends up running, like, full force into, like, the maneater, stabs it, but then it's just like, that doesn't do anything. The maneater just starts to eat him, and it's just like, no, let go of me, screaming, eating. Like, it's kind of a little terrifying. And then his sister ends up coming around. It's like, hey, like, let everybody know that, like, there's a maneater, go back to headquarters, like, the race isn't going to finish. But, like, if he wouldn't have shot the maneater in the first place, then, like, the maneater wouldn't have been seen. So, like, he did end up actually saving a lot of people, even though, like, his whole disaster ended up coming around, and his sister's like, no, wait, you know what? I'm going to actually run into you, crash, which is great because like it gets like the maneater to spit out his, well, I guess not quite yet, but like she has all these scars and things on him. And then I don't know why in this scene she doesn't start getting like so. Maybe it's because the maneater can only have one at a time or something like that. I don't know. And then it just also walks away, which is a little kind of odd. You'd think that like, oh, maybe it would like attack me because like, but then again, maybe the only reason that it was attacking the boy was because he started to attack it first. Who knows? Maybe it was just trying to live its normal life. I don't know, but like you get to see that like his body's cut in half, which is really sad. The sister's like, what's going on? Sad, crying. And it's just like, help, need some help. She was so close, closes his eyes, and then, which is this. So this is the interesting part. So like she is perfectly okay. Like, yeah, she has some scratches and some burns and things like that. It's like, okay, like that makes kind of sense. Like that makes a decent amount of sense. And then it goes into the help. Sister, she was so close. He closes out. And then they start going on this walk. Like he goes back into his memory and they're walking together. They're having a good time. They go to all these different places, laughing, smiling. The hair gets cut off here as well too, which is kind of interesting. It's like, okay, well, why is the hair getting cut off? Like that doesn't make much sense. So unless maybe, just maybe hypothetically, and I still don't know like the needles and like the bolts that are coming out, because maybe that did happen like in this little crash thing. Like maybe she got some of those. I don't know, because like maybe that's where like the doctor's pulling those things out into her thing. But then there's this like they have this good time, like they're laughing together or whatever it may be, and then you see like this little blood like come out. So it's like, okay, there's probably some symbolism there. All these memories are going through like the minds, like you see the heartbeat like coming over. It's like in this scene right here, I'm going to mute this just for the sake of muting it. In this scene right here, it's just like, okay, well, the heartbeat's going, like the hands are together. Who's actually on the table? Like, because there's no arms right now on the table. So like, clearly there's no arms. If there's no arms, like clearly this is the boy that is being like operated on. Like we can know that from a fact. And then you see her, yada, yada, yada. The blood goes all over. You see this scene right here where it's hard to say like whose brain did they end up taking out in this section, because it's like, okay, this is probably the boy's brain, because like the boy didn't have a body anymore. So like you end up losing, like taking the brain out. But it's just like, she's still strong. She's still independent. Like she's still capable of everything that she has going on. He ends up walking away and it's just like, sis, but he's stuck because like his lower body like ended up getting consumed by the maneater. So like he can't do anything in those regards. And then it's just like when they wake up, walks over, yada, yada, yada. And it's just like, sis, like that doesn't make any sense. So the patient screaming, and it's just like, where's my sister? Because he thinks that she is his sister, but it's like, is she actually his sister, or is she somebody else entirely? I don't know. And that's where it's just like the doctors are talking about. It's just like, I think that the shock of her brother's death has led her to believe that she is her brother, the poor girl. But I'm just kind of confused, because it's like the doctor, where's the doctor? So the part that I'm confused about is because like, it doesn't look, at least from what I am able to see, and like you can let me know down below as well too, like she seems fine in this section. Like she's holding her brother, like she seems perfectly okay. So like she's sure sad, and like you saw the creature, the maneater, walk away too, like after like freeing her brother. So I guess I'm just kind of confused as to why when she wakes up she has no hair. Like why would her head have been shaved in this regard? And it's like, I'm definitely this person, but like, are you really that person? But then again, it's like the head was shaved, but she was perfectly okay in the first place. So why was the head shaved to begin with? Unless like the sister was like, you know what, I'm going to give up my life to save my brother's so that he can keep living. I don't need my brain anymore. And like maybe she ended up giving that up. I don't know. It's so many unanswered questions that are in this world, because like I said, she was fine here. Like there's no hair loss. Like the monster wasn't coming back. Like closes his eyes and then just wakes up, has this little flashback, goes through the operations. She kind of like walks away where he can't do anything. So it's just like, it's a trip. And then when she wakes up, he wakes up. I still don't know. Like it's so confusing, but it got me thinking of like, well, what is it actually? Like what's going on? And it's just like, she's trying to find the doctor, because the only one that actually has any answers will be the doctor. And it's just like, the doctor has answers to everything, where Robin is, why my sister is dead. But it's like, is your sister actually dead, or are you your sister? I don't know. And I would like for you guys to help me out. And it's just like, it's this whole concept that I just don't understand. So it's like, it's finally time. I've told it. It's the first time I've told anybody that. And it's just like, do you want me to stop calling you sister? It's like, nah, it's okay. So it's just like, I'm sure you'll meet someone more appropriate soon. I won't find a girl I get along with this well, and that's where she is. It's like, that's because we're both guys. And it's just like, so the photo, it's Robin. And it's just like, what do you think about him? It's all this jealousy that ends up coming on. But it's just like, you still don't get it, do you? What do you expect when you tell somebody something like that? And it's just like, maybe when I wake up, this will all turn out to be a dream, which I've talked about that in other concepts and other videos beforehand too. But this is what the last part that I wanted to relay, because like you get to find out like these paintings, these videos, the artist work that the one guy is drawing is actually like being transported into this other world somehow. I don't know how that works, but it's the case. Like there's a movie as well too, if you've ever watched it, called Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell. Highly recommend watching that movie. Kind of has a similar concept, but basically these drawings that the dudes are doing in heaven, whatever it is, end up actually coming into this place beforehand or afterwards, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to be touching on this fish looking thing and how they're able to defeat it and using your creative powers in the next video. But let me know down below, like, what do you think? Like, do you think that she is actually him, or is it just a traumatic event that like she believes that he is because they went through something traumatic? I'd like to get your thoughts. I'd like to know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below, because I'm still kind of like tossing it around. I think that it's a little bit of both, but it's like, if it was the girl, like, why would it hurt? Like, it is clearly the girl, but like, why was her head shaved and put a new? Can our brains actually be like, is it the brain that controls the actions, or is it the soul of the mind? Like, is there a combination of the both? Can you actually just, if you change somebody's brain from one body to another, what ends up actually happening? Would that brain or the consciousness from that one brain go into the other body, or is there something else that's connected to us entirely? I don't know. This is just my speculations of like, if you change it, does it move? Does it not move? Like, where does it go? Where does it not go? And why did she have to have her head shaved when she was perfectly okay? Like, after like the brother didn't end up dying. I don't know. I'd like to get answers from you guys and have a discussion down below. But that's my thoughts so far on episode 3. With that being said, you can subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss out on episode 4. And I'll chat with you in tomorrow's video. So talk soon.